Hey folks, this is Scott at the X-Fed Homestead. Well, I've spent the last couple of weeks sitting by the wood stove. As you can tell from my face here, I've been under the weather, and so right after I made my New Year's Eve video, I got pretty sick. So I've been sitting by the wood stove, and it got me thinking that I really appreciate the warmth. There is nothing like sitting by a wood stove on cold winter days, and it's been really cold these past couple of weeks. So while I was getting better, got out and got some wood for the stove, and it made me start appreciating the fact that I have that nice source of warmth. So I'm gonna go check the chickens first. Got to do that every day, and get a few of the eggs now that they're laying a little more. And then I want to talk to you about how I went about preparing to be warm this winter. It's a cold winter day out here, and as you can tell, I've been out of it for a couple of weeks. I was pretty much down for the count, and that accounts for my full beard now. But I'll be getting rid of this in a couple of days. But even if you're sick, you still got to go out and check the chickens, so that's what I'm doing now. Let's take a look at them. Well, they've been going through the molt. They're about a year and a half old, and it looks like, yes, I am starting to get some eggs. I got 7 yesterday. Now, I'd been down to 2. Let me put these back here. I've been down to 2 every day, and that was getting a little discouraging. Yeah, there's some more under there. There's 4 there right now. Yesterday I got 7, the day before I got 6. Let's take a look inside. Here they are. Somebody's been flapping around. Well, I started giving them higher protein feed because they really were looking kind of rough there. But now their feathers have come in and they're laying, and because it's been so cold, I've got the heat lamp there. Oh, look. There's an egg right in the middle of the floor. Somebody's missing the mark. But so far, they look like they're doing pretty good. Especially once I put the heat lamp in here, they started perking up. It was really cold, but you keep them in food and water, they'll get by. So that's not too bad. 5 eggs when I was getting 2 a day, so I'm pretty pleased with that. It's going to be a while before the garden's working, but in the meantime, I can order some seeds and get prepared for next year. Well, in order to prepare for this winter's wood, I had to go out and get 4 cords this year from my buddy Dave. And Dave delivered a load, and I got to stacking it, which took a little while. And this was back in May of 2024, so I was going to let this wood cure for quite a long time. Let me show you the work involved. Well, sometimes you'll see me break from stacking the wood, and I'll grab some pieces and put them on the side or up on top of the pile here. And typically I try to save these nice square ones for the columns on the end over here because they stack a little easier. Sometimes I have to shim them to make them square and solid so they don't rock. Other times I'll take pieces like this with a lot of bark on them. Doesn't have as much wood as bark on this particular cut, but I'll use those up top to kind of create a roof so that during the winter the snow won't get to them to the other logs as easily. And this will be here for another year and a half before I start burning it in November, December of 2025. And so other pieces I'll save on top. There's some of these gnarly pieces that are kind of hard to stack evenly, and I'll tend to put those up top here and save them for later to finish out the top of the stack. And when I'm piling up the wood into the cart over here, I'll sometimes throw a few pieces of ugly wood like this, unshapely wood. So I'll throw that to the side to make its own pile. And then particularly in the woodshed, when it starts to get high, I'll start stacking these, and I'll burn these first thing during the winter. But I'm going to finish up this 2 cords of wood. Behind me, you can see most of it way back here. And then I'm stacking the new stuff right here. Now, I know some folks will say you don't want to put wood in the garage. Why are you putting wood? It's got bugs in it and things like that. And it's going to be okay. What I'm telling you is for 17 years, I've been stacking wood in my garage, and I've never had an insect problem. Termites like wet wood. I've had termites before. I know where they are. They like the wet wood. So they're not going in my garage and eating off of my firewood because it's bone dry. So for those of you who are worried about it, appreciate it, but it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to move this wood here in the center of the screen there. I'm going to move that eventually into the garage to make room for the firewood that I'm stacking here. And that's the plan. Well, that's all there is to that. Let me show you the results. That job's done until I get the next 2 cords in. So I got one cord, and then I got another cord, and I stacked that. And then after that, that was in May. In June, Dave came through with another couple cords, which I had to stack as well. But partway through that, I got a load of wood chips, and I get a load of wood chips every year. But unfortunately, I called my buddy Dave, and he said, I'm not going to be able to deliver the chips. I got another guy, he can give you a load of chips. I said, great. I could hear the guy when I was inside the house backing up into the driveway. And so I came out, and he was dumping the load right where I had marked a place to dump it. And it was 30 yards of wood chips. I had to tell him to stop halfway through because I thought he was going to bury my car. And he ended up burying some of the wood that was still stacked in the driveway, waiting for me to put it away in the woodshed. So, well, that was a little unexpected. This truck was bigger than the ones they usually send. So that is 30 yards of wood chips. That is a mountain. Look at it next to the car. Yeah, we'll find some place for all of that. I thought that pile of wood that I got was a lot. Holy smokes. So, I mean, you can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle. So the wood chips all came out, and I had 30 yards of wood chips. So I'll make another video about how I got rid of that. But that was something I didn't anticipate, and it slowed me down a little bit. But I got plenty of wood chips for last year, this year, and next year. So I'll do a video on that later. Well, the sun is casting a beautiful glow on our mountain of wood chips. I've already reached out to neighbors to see if they wanted some and got a few positive responses. So that's great. And my gardening buddy Sherry said she'd take some as well. So maybe a pickup load may be going that way. But I'll have to find a way to get rid of all of these. This is about 5 times more than I expected. There really isn't much left to my wood stack, except over here you can see that some was buried by my giant wood chip pile. The neighbors will be coming over on Saturday to help me get rid of some of it. Now that I'm getting to the top of the stack, I'm going to start putting in odd-shaped pieces of wood that would otherwise inhibit me from making a clean and sturdy stack. I usually save these off to the side and then pile them at the top of the piles. Well, it was 4 cords of wood, and now it's gone. I've got a few scraps to clean up, a few more I can see that I can throw in the pile, and then this project will be done. Anyhow, having a wood stove, it causes a bit of work, but it's fun work. I enjoy stacking wood. I've said in a video last year, I just love everything about wood. I love the way it smells. I love the way it burns. It's just great exercise, and I think it's one of those things I'll be doing for many years in the future. But that's how I prepare to be warm in the winter. I hope you learned something about how I do it. Maybe you can learn something from that and use that in your own stacking regimen. This is Scott at the XFed Homestead. We'll see you next time.